This is one of the most emotional tricks in music. So today I want to play around with the pitch control knob on my new TASCAM 34. Now changing the speed of tape is nothing new, but I do want to experiment with the pitch control just to see how it affects the emotion of a track, as well as using it as a creative tool during the production process. Now at the end of this video, we're going to do a comparison between vari-speed on tape versus vari-speed in the computer, just to see if it really does sound that much better. You've heard this trick used on countless records dating back to the early days of tape. Everybody Wants to Rule the World was originally recorded at a slower BPM, and then they sped the tape up about 4% just to give a little bit of life to the track. And even in my first video on this channel, there's a section where I was trying to recreate Zeppelin 3's That's the Way. Arm it. And I did it by recording the acoustic guitars at a faster BPM and then slowing it down digitally to simulate what they would have been doing back in the day on tape. So why do this in the first place? Now, when we talk about variable speed, it's important to note what's actually happening to the sound. So when we slow down the tape, the tempo and the pitch will lower together, and this can do things like soften the transients. On the other hand, if we speed the tape up, the tempo and the pitch will increase together, and a lot of people will do this because it tightens the groove, if you will. Regardless of which way you go, you also end up shifting the harmonics. Now, there were plenty of practical reasons why this would have been used back in the day. Just as an example, if there was a particular vocal part that was difficult to hit for a singer, the tape could be slowed down. The singer could come in, sing at the slower tape speed, and then when the tape was brought back up to its normal speed, their voice would be pitched up with it. So it could make for a difficult vocal part just to be made a little bit easier. And I should add that when we change the speed of the tape, we're not doing anything drastic. It's not like we're going from 15 inches per second down to 7.5 inches per second. If you were to do something like that, you would literally be cutting the speed in half, and you would be lowering the source by a full octave. Instead, we're just making a very subtle adjustment. It's usually just a few percent. This TASCAM goes up to 12%. And when you change the speed subtly like that, you actually end up making the track feel different emotionally. And that's actually what I want to play with today. So usually by the end of the production of a track, I'll usually feel pretty indifferent towards the tune. You have to keep in mind, I'm writing things, I'm recording them, producing them, trying to mix them. And by the end, it just starts to feel like you really don't know what you're doing, like your ears get fatigued and you don't know if you're making the best decisions. So what I do is I'll typically bounce a session out when I'm done working on it for the day, even if it's not finished. I'll throw that into a new session, and a lot of times I will slow down the track or speed it up just to see if it generates any ideas. Whenever you do this, it will a lot of times make it sound like you're listening to the mix for the very first time, and it's so refreshing to do. Now, a really cool thing that happens when I do this, and it's usually when I slow down the track, and I don't know if it's just because I'm allowing like more space in between things, but usually when I do this, I'll start to hear like ideas and melodies that I just could not hear after having worked on the track for so long. And whenever this happens, I'll kind of like make note of them, I'll go back into the mix, and then I'll add them. And sometimes you can generate entire sections just by doing this trick. And then whenever I'm done with a track and I'm, fully ready to master it, it's always a cool thing just to change the speed of the track. Sometimes you find that a few BPM slower or faster at a different pitch actually works better for the track, and you just stick with it. This is basically what they would do a lot back in the days of tape. They would just slow this tape down or speed it up, and all of a sudden that was like where the song sat. So let's do an experiment. I want to record some drums to the TASCAM. We're going to play around with the pitch control knob. We're going to speed it up, slow it down, and see how it affects the pitch of the drums, but most importantly, how it affects the transients. Okay, so for the digital versus tape comparison, I actually want to use a Fleetwood Mac track that I recorded in a previous video. Now, if you guys watched the video where I created this, you'll know that when we got to the mastering part, I actually slowed down the track just a few BPM. And of course, we had to do that digitally. So what I want to do today is I want to take the original tempo that it was recorded at. I'll send that through the TASCAM, and using the pitch control knob, I'll try to match what we did digitally, but now, of course, on tape. Then I'll send that back to the computer, and we'll be able to compare and see which one we actually prefer. Okay, so I got it recorded to the TASCAM. Now the challenge is really just trying to get it to match the tempo and the pitch that I had on the digital version here with the pitch control. So let's see. Let me play it. It really is tough. Like, I did this a few times and it was slightly too slow. I think that's it. All right, so let me know down in the comments which version you prefer. Did you prefer it when it was slowed down on the computer or when it was slowed down on the TASCAM? Obviously, the more you slow something down, the more likely it is you're going to hear artifacts. And I should say that that's specifically why I chose to slow down audio for this experiment, because when you stretch audio, especially when you do that digitally, that's where you're really going to hear the artifacts. If you guys enjoyed some of the stuff you heard in this video, definitely go check me out on Instagram. And if you have any video recommendations or ideas that you want to see me talk about or challenges, definitely leave them below and I'll be happy to read those. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching and hanging out, and I'll see you on the next one.